Now you're live.
They call me the Dream. I used to read wrestling magazines, applying pressure to the scene. Affiliated 10P, working with
Shout
a
out
team. Steady on the grind, and we hustle while you sleep.
He was so excited about this.
Every other week. Been working on the skills. Now we about to go compete. I'm bringing in the heat. I'm putting you to bed. Squeezing on
Dream
you.
Show is live again.
And
we're back live for today.
We don't even know what we're doing sometimes. That's the cool part about this. We can do whatever we want.
Hard stop. I didn't have a way to fade it out. My bad.
We'll fade. We'll work on that. We're not really DJs. Not really, DJing. Not really in our skill set yet, but it is what it is. Dream Show coming live because we didn't have somebody to interview this week, or we're too busy to get a good interview in, and whatever. That's the way life is. It bees that way. So, let me pull this down so I can see if there's any comments and such as people come in. I don't even know if I've shared.
Hello, Tom B.
What's up, Tom? Tom, you're the man, dude.
I see him all over our stuff.
I say respect, dude. Appreciate that constant support. Yeah. So just glad to be doing the thing, man. We've been hustling hard. Oh, it's young Morgan, the first purchaser of the Cradle of Civilization. If anybody needed to know the truth, it was this man, young Morgan Arden the Fourth. The first of his lineage to get that information. He's passing it down to his son. That's how important this stuff was. He thought, I missed out on this stuff as a child in history class. So I'm gonna pass down the real stuff right away to the fifth. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Well, then, for the people that don't know what you're talking about,
I'm just gonna rant about it.
It's the
Cradle of Civilization. The Cradle of Civilization. It's the closed guard instructional that we worked on and we've been talking about for months and months and months and months. And it's finally out. It's on Kajabi now. If you're on the archives or different things like that, there it is. Bam. Look at your boy right here. I was so happy in that day. That picture, I was like, we're going to get this thing produced. It's so exciting. Okay. I've done a lot of teaching and, obviously very good at the jiu-jitsu stuff that I do, but putting together an online product was a brand new thing for us, and so we've gotten some pretty good feedback about the way that it works, how easy it is to follow along, how simple some of this can plug right into your game, and I'm gonna say it. I hope and dude, I'm gonna believe it, even if this is not true, because I know how stuff works sometimes, but. Jean-Jacques Machado's like my videos about the closed guard stuff on my Instagrams and stuff like that. When
you got the hearts.
I'm sure that's probably some kind of like intern running the page or something like that.
You can just believe it's him.
Yeah, in my heart it's him. For real. He believes in it. He loves my closed guard instructional. If he had to buy one, I'm sure it would be that one, but he doesn't. So I'm not expecting him to. At all, but you people should buy it. Look at that, $39.99. It's got 12 sections. Is it 12 sections?
10. It's got 9 of the. It's got 9 of the. Oh wait, no, yeah, it does actually have 11 because there's the white belt one as well.
That's like 14 sections.
Yeah,
all into one. That's what I say. Is like I came out with one. It was just basically like a mixtape. And I was like, we can't really put this out as an instructional.
More like a freestyle on Sway in the morning.
That's right. Your boy just came in hot that day, and I was like, there's all the information in the world I can spit at you right now. But that was cool that we did that, because then that gave me, like I say, you got to get that like brainstorm time in to figure out what you want and what you don't want. Sometimes you can't show everything. And that was the one part that we were trying to figure out, is how to start it. Like where would you go first? What's the most important? And then what is the common, theme after that? So there's a lot of stuff you can still do that's not included in this. We're going to be looking to add some of that stuff in to more and further content. If you bought it this week, you get access to a question from me or to me and a video from me in response. If you've bought it in the first week, I think that expires tomorrow.
Today or tomorrow.
Today?
Yeah. If they get it done, the way that I think it's been worded is that if they get ordered by today or tomorrow, they'll get on that list to where they can order or they can contact you and ask you any information that they want to know about the series, and you'll send them a personalized video response.
Yeah, I'll just send you a little clip. I mean, I could just send you one to say thank you if that's all you need. Hopefully that explains a lot in and of itself.
If you wanted people to walk away with one thing from the Cradle of Civilization, what do you want them to walk away with?
Honestly, just that it's all connected, man. That everything's that you can't see one. There is no one thing. That's the truth. That everything is everything. It's all one thing. I guess is
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we went off on these weird tangents about the pyramids and like the Cradle of Civilization and. Because honestly, and you know this is not a joke. Like I'm not even kidding. Was listening to a lot of like ancient, like history and battles and different things from like great courses and those lectures and stuff like that from different professors and stuff. Just because I'm just a nerd, I guess anyway. But I was listening to how they were structuring the story that they were telling of.
How they were presenting the information.
Civilizations, yeah. Right? Exactly. Like, but it's always the same thing. It's like something starts it, and then there's innovation or whatever you would call it that adds on to it. But usually it's just by necessity. People are only doing things to meet some kind of new need that they have, and some of the situations are things you've created for yourself that are problems. Right, and if you can eliminate some of the problems you create for yourself, you'll be a little bit better off. And then sometimes, it's already changed. Things have changed, so you can't really go back to how it was. So you gotta stay down this other path now and kind of just know where you're going with all that. So, like I say, it really is like to me, it's the starting point for Jiu Jitsu. Like what Jiu Jitsu to me is, you can really start understanding it from the closed guard, because it's got a lot of the Kazushi stuff, the push pull off balancing that you need. You're not getting thrown, right? So you're already on the ground. You're not taking like a ton of damage, so you can get a chance to start in that place, And for myself, again, someone who wasn't, athletic or really one of the heavy, like hard work guys. When I first started, I had to start from the bottom literally and work my way up from just getting beat up by everybody because I couldn't get off my back, or I couldn't sweep. I didn't understand how to get to my side. I couldn't get an angle. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. Well, that was 14 years ago. And so all the things I've learned and unlearned and things like that, we're trying to throw it in there. I'm throwing it in there to hit it with a deep dive of the information. But I think it's deep, but it's simple stuff that you can really see, and it's not just, it's concepts that are concrete. It's not really like this move works every time, or this works every time, or when I do this, I completely shut down everybody. That's not true. And I don't think that's really hardly ever true. You have like best practices, and whoever has the best practices typically is doing better. Now on competition day, man, that's between you and the other person more than it is information.
It's like I've heard guys say too, is that like it's not the competition. I know I've heard you say is that like it's not the competition of the knowledge or necessarily.
Yeah, it's not a knowledge contest.
Yeah, it's not pulling out the flashcards and seeing who can answer the flashcard the fastest.
Yeah, it's not like a standardized test where we sit here and they ask questions and somebody gets that. You just get a chance to answer it without anything. Because as soon as you start to answer the question, some ADHD kid like myself is just going to jump in front of you and answer it before you do. And so it's just going to ruin your day. So you got to be ready for that stuff. You got to know, like, when somebody's just going to swerve, they're like, oh, well, he thinks he's going to do that. Well, I'm just going to do this. And it's like, well, honestly, man, if the guy does that, it's an easier play to make because he's making a huge mistake here. Like, if he does what we're saying right now, it's a little bit safer for him. But in reality, nothing's safe.
And you're encouraging those decisions for him because you're in that like closed guard scenario where you're actually in it and at some points like in an advantageous position, even though you're on bottom, if you're playing it correctly. Whereas like it's not viewed as a like, oh, you're in an inferior position. It's like, well, actually.
So you think about the pyramid. You have your base, and the closed guard is the pyramid upside down. So you turn in that 4 points is that's your base in a way that you're using if you know how to use it. But now you can have it to where it can pull people around too. It's not just holding things. It can also like push and pull. So it's weird. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot that we don't know about this stuff just because we assume it's a series of like movements. Oh, you do this, you do that, you do it's just knee slice. You do this, you do a scissor sweep, or this is a Kimura. Every time they do that, it's like, no, not every time. These are like the main ideas. When he does this, you can go here. When he does this, you can try to go here. You do this, well, if they're strong enough, you don't get that. So what's the response then? When the strong guy is strong, that's still a response. It's like he's not going to give it to you easy, like nobody is. But if you're smaller than the other person, or they're just really like big and strong, that's still making a response. So is your response the same thing to that person as it is to this person? No, that's what I'm saying. So you got to be armed with the information to make that decision in the physical like battle that's going on if you're competing or whatever it is. That's where the arms race comes from for the information. It's like you just got to know it and be aware of it. That way, as it's developing, you don't just walk into an ambush or whatever, a trap that the other person's setting for you, and you're setting the trap. If the other guy knows a lot, and this is the thing too, if they know a lot, it's going to be hard. Just like your X guard or your reverse de la Hivas or anything is going to be hard to get going once the other guy is very skilled as well. So it's not like the end all be all. Nothing to me. Nothing is the end all be all. Is whatever you can get going, and whatever you've worked on the most is what you're going to be the best at. So it's the opposite look at the game now. I think a lot of people look at it from the inside. I mean, from the outside in, and we're trying to bring it, or at least myself, trying to bring that inside out approach to it, to where and this is Eddie, like the clinch game, bringing everything in tight, holding it tight, controlling the posture, not letting them get away. Don't let them like suck them in, make them make that mistake, pass their arm across. It's just the same thing.
You're not getting beat up.
You don't want to get beat up.
Yeah.
If you don't get beat up, you can still win a jiu-jitsu match. Like if you're doing things that will stop somebody from beating you up in a fight, you should still be winning the jiu-jitsu match as well.
Hypothetically, right. I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So like it's better to be tight, or to be all the way in, or all the way out. That middle ground is where I'm trying to make the sauce happen. That's where you're going to catch them off balance, or trying to turn the corner, or
some people refer to that like in the scramble area. Like,
right? Yeah. And so that's the thing, is that I don't want to close guard. You don't want to initiate a scramble as much. That slows it down. The scramble's for the athletes. So that's what
you're trying to slow that down and get that in betweens to be your choice. I'm trying to
hold on to that athlete if I can, and make him take both of us with him. If he's going to do anything, you got to take me with you. And so after a few of those, they start to slow down, hopefully, or at the very least, they realize, oh, this is going to wear me down if I keep making this big, strong response, and this guy's just like hanging off of me like a front backpack. That's what it is. It's just like you're just hanging the weight off of the front, and nobody's really strong, like leaning out like in a plank. Like just imagine you're doing a push-up. It's not somebody sitting on your back.
Yeah,
there's something like holding on to your middle back, pulling you down.
Yeah,
it's like if you train, it's really hard. Now,
which that's one of the big things that you like. I noticed is different that you really harped on is that like I've heard guys that have tried to like say it in different ways, but that connection to where you're like actually connected to their body through your guard is more important than you just like, you're not just drooping your legs around them and just kind of like haphazardly, like you're attached to them at that point on
we're
their
hip to
abdomen.
hip.
Yeah.
I need to be hip to hip with you. Or otherwise that's when I'm trying to make my angle, is when that disconnection happens. I'm trying to scoot or pivot or whatever it is when there's that little disconnection. That's what some of the push pull is there, is to make that little bit of space to get the angle without having to open up to make an angle. You can make angles with it closed.
Yeah.
You know, you may not make the big angle that you want, but you're going to make an angle based on, you know, reactions from your person.
Right.
So, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, nothing's foolproof. Nothing's going to work forever and every time. But looking at it, if you have a longer match, if you have a long fight, or there's plenty of time, it's going to end up being a grinder. And so you're going to want to be slowing it down. You're not going to want to be just carrying all the weight if you're on the bottom. You're going to want the top person to be carrying that weight. So if you have to be on the bottom, and sometimes you have to be on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, if you're chasing Nicky Rod around, though, like, you don't want to be chasing him around in, like, open space.
No, he's going to cartwheel over you,
right.
or whatever that is. You got to be hanging on to this dude and making it nasty and, like, grinding on his head and neck and making him pick you up and try to worry about the slam and then let go as he starts to come up, so that way he's kind of making a choice to either come up or not. You know, it's like you're going underneath him at that point if he makes that. That's what I'm saying. You can time that to where they pop up really hard, and now you're under him if that's what you like. If you like going for the legs, you know, I heard someone, I think it was Phil Schwartz, actually, the homie who's going to be down in Costa Rica with us or whatever. It's just a funny thing that I heard him. He was talking about K guard, and then he was in like full guard and used the scoop grip, and he was like, "This is pre-K guard."
Yeah,
it's you know, it's just an open full guard that you've already kind of pivoted up. You know,
you've already cut the angle, and you're creating you're either going to get a sweep, or you're going to their level of
they're coming up, or they're going to sit down, and if they sit down, you got triangles and different things like that, and if they come up, you're under their legs. And so it's if you get the Cradle of Civilization, you got the hip bump series and things like that we're talking about how to start it off at. There's rubber guard stuff off of all that if they come back down. That's to say, you want to be attached. You don't want them up running around freely, because even if they just crash back down into you, it's damage. It's just damage. You don't want to take that damage. Somebody lands on your hip. They land sideways on you. That's damage on your hip. They land on your ribs. That's damage on you. You know what I mean? It's not always fatal, but that one time is when it's going to hurt you. Yeah. So try to mitigate that stuff and tying them up, slowing it down. I mean, that's the way. So it's there. It's all there. And like I said, if you have questions, I have answers. And if you've been here, you know I like talking. That's why I'm doing this. It's because I'm talking and I like it. And so if you're interested in my jiu-jitsu stuff, man, that's what I like talking about the most. It's my favorite thing. So for sure, if you bought it, man, it makes my day. Thank you so much. I'd be more than happy to help you do anything I can, understand it, get better at your jiu-jitsu with this or other stuff. It's crazy to have done it. You know what I mean? Like, I actually have an instructional out that we did. You did. We do. We have an instructional. You know, a lot of the work was you know, we all the behind the scenes stuff, the plugging in everything or whatever was Isaac's, you know, work. So it's hard. This stuff is hard to do. Like, it was a lot of work to get it all put together and even have it halfway decent. So shouts out to all the others who came before us.
The thing that people, like, for me, like, I was never somebody who bought a lot of instructionals. Like, I was always more of just, like, go get it from the person, or, like, try to, like, find the information myself and stuff kind of attitude. But, like, especially being around the guys that I've been around for the last couple years, and, like, having my hands on the ones that I've had and going through all the way through with one like this, has been that, like, really what you're paying for is you're paying for the organization. You're paying for the fact that, like, it's been broken down and put into, like, here's how you can view it, and you can come back to this for reference over and over and over and over and over again to be able to get your reps in. Like, that, I now, like, I love seeing that now of, I understand the value in it, especially for the people that are like just coming in, or if they're just trying to keep up, or they're trying to like. Not everybody can, take off time from their life and train 2 times, 3 times a day and do all this. So like, it's another way to get the mental rep.
But it's the logical sequencing of it. I think is the big part of it. It's like you don't have to come to class and get one lesson, and hope you get the whole flow in one class, and then come back the next. Because even the way we do it, where we do the same stuff for like a month and stay on the theme, you still don't get everything every time, and you may miss
rep,
you may miss one of the major lessons during the time. Like you just don't come that day when I'm really like talking about that stuff,
or you're hung up on some other detail that day, and so you never pick up. So
with this, that's one of the things I think is going to be the best part of it for people who are my students too, if they get it, is that it'll be an easy way to go back to 3 months ago when we were working on this stuff, or last year when we worked on it. Kind of like you said, when you looked at the closed guard stuff we did just in class a couple of years ago, or when we were first working it out, versus what is it when we do an instructional. Because like when I teach a class, I'm just thinking about 1 hour of instructional stuff that's going to get the most bang for their buck. Well, this is like, well, what is it? what do they need to know? And it's a logical sequence of events to me that you can go back to. It's this. You won't see all of those in a class like that. And then you'll be able to go back and make that reference again and again and again. And if you're having trouble, you can, like you said, you can literally just pull it up, and it's right. Oh, okay, he said this. Okay, my bad. So, and I've seen people, again, like I was saying with Morgan, but also another family that trains with us. The dad bought it, and they were watching it at home, and the kid, she trains in my kids program or whatever, and she was like, oh yeah, that's so cool. It's so cool. I really, really, really liked it, because the kids classes don't get to go that deep often. They don't get to go. She's probably the best student.
So like a little more competitive of a kid can be like, oh yeah,
mentally ready to get all that extra information, where most of the other kids aren't. But there's a couple of them like Mav and like Thomas could learn all that stuff. There's a few of them that are ready for that, but majority of our kids program is not ready to go super deep on all that stuff. They can't really keep up. So for them, now they're learning stuff. Like they're going to be on those stupid tablets and videos and things like that anyway. And apparently these kids really like jiu-jitsu, so they're watching this crap on YouTube, or they're going anywhere. So might as well watch me. You might as well just come see the man. You know what I mean? I'm right here. I got this info, and you like me already anyway, I guess, because you're here. So let's get it. Let's change this world one closed guard at a time. We open our minds by closing in the guard.
That's been my favorite tagline that's come out of this. Open your mind, close your guard.
I'm telling you, man, it's the opposite of the world has gone mad. We're teaching wrestling this month, and I've had to reference leg pummeling. Yes, Tom, it's really loud. I've had to reference leg pummeling to get people to arm pummel standing, because they understood pummeling from the legs, but not from the feet, not from standing, like arm pummels. But they can leg pummel.
See, in my head, it was completely reversed for me. I had to learn the leg pummel later. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. It's like, wait, how are you not like?
It's simpler. You have more control over your hands.
And they're like, oh, this is like when we do the hip circles in the beginning of class. I was like, yeah, pummeling. But that's that thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like the joints are the same. The shoulders are the same as the hips and the knees. So it's like I don't know why I didn't think about that, but it is that. I just didn't learn it that way either. We weren't leg pummeling back in the day as a term. So yeah, I had to get more familiar with that. Like I had to explain that with the DMs to somebody the other day of like that whole little leg pummel, and so it was the reverse conversation of like, like how you pummel with your hand in wrestling to get up underneath. I was like, do the same thing with your feet, but down here. Why would I do that?
To get on the inside.
Wait, what's on the inside?
Everything.
Tom, what's up? You got a question you're asking if we're live? That's making me worry. You outside my house?
Been watching too many Netflix documentaries.
I'm worried. I'm nervous. No.
Not really.
No, I actually haven't been getting into a lot of my true crime stuff as much in the last while.
I really like training in the gi. I'm thinking of how to use judo to counter a wrestler's attack.
In the gi,
all right,
that's
I'll
the
let the
proper
black belt say
response.
this. Yeah. Okay.
In the gi,
Okay,
that's
in the
probably
gi.
right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you got the handles. In no gi, it's just Greco.
Yeah.
So
And it's just who's a better Greco wrestler at that point, right?
essentially, yeah. So then but again, so this is part of the thing that we're working on
Yeah, let's see.
And-
What are you working on this month?
in our program is like, we're not wrestlers. We can wrestle. And this is the thing. I'm going to show you some things that you can do to beat people with wrestling. If I grab you and I collar tie you hard one time and you just collapse to the ground, that's all I needed. I don't need to go past that. But as soon as they level up, now I need to know a trip, or now I need to know underhook, or now I need to know. So just learning how to use the tools that a wrestler has, but then also knowing that when you grab somebody sometimes, you're like, okay, I may not get this guy down. So now we need to get to a position where we can tie it up and get to the ground safely, where we're not getting thrown or like taken down in the way your guard's passed, or so you're pulling them into like overhooks and stuff. So where you're getting busy with your guard game as you're getting taken down, where he has to be aggressively taking you down for it to stick. You know what I mean? Because you're using proper frames and you're using your hips correctly and you're moving, and you're just not going to beat that D1 wrestler purple. But the same thing Eddie was saying at that seminar about the pulling guard is like a D1 wrestler who's also like a really good purple belt. You may never out wrestle him and get on top like that, but you can learn to sweep and get back on top.
Counter wrestle.
So pull guard to a position where you could be more comfortable with your guard and get busy from there, rather than not waste, but use all that energy and risk all that trying to wrestle.
I mean, that's a waste. I mean, you're wasting time, energy.
Well,
like
I say waste
risk.
in a match sense, right? Waste in a fight sense, but in a technical kind of mastery sense, not really, because nothing's wasted if you're really trying to learn it like that. But at the end of the day, yes, if you have to actually go, you might as well get to the ground safely and start getting busy from there.
Because otherwise you're playing
overhooks
catch up
and
with a
underhooks.
guy.
That's tie-ups, though, right?
Yeah.
That's the Greco still. That's still upper body clinching or whatever. It's not getting beat up with front headlocks and stuff. So we're trying to not stick your head down. I'm not running to anybody with my head down. I'm not dropping to a knee to shoot and break the glass or whatever. In case of emergency, we pulling guard. We're not breaking the glass. We just going to get to the ground and start tying them up. So that's it. We started with defending a body lock, how to start defending body lock, and then now we're back into the other side of like, this is how you would actually take people down. So it started as completely defensive, and now, here at the end of the month, now we're working into the Zangief rolls and different things like that, front headlocks and like trips and different things like that are actually like getting people down. So you got to, again, you got to understand your tools, man. You got to know what you're using, what weapons doing what. And if they don't respond the way you want them to, it doesn't work. So wrestling is just jiu-jitsu on the feet.
What's your favorite takedown?
A body lock trip.
Body lock trip? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
I was going to say trip. Some variation of trip is probably
I like
my
trips.
favorite. Yeah.
My favorite is probably like a foot sweep, but it's, not as easy to get on bigger dudes.
Yeah, but once you do get it on a bigger dude, like they go. Like,
that's what I'm
like
saying. That's why I like it, though.
Yeah.
Trips are fun. The sweeps are really like, again, I'm not trying to shoot. If I get a leg, it's because it came up while I was doing something else. I'm not really looking for double legs.
Came up while I was doing something else.
I mean, I was driving into you and your leg came up. And that's a single leg, I guess.
That's how I get single legs. I don't shoot personally. I don't really shoot up underneath anybody for any reason anymore. Like I just got. You ever heard of the cow catcher?
I've heard of it.
It's kind of like 100%, I think, but like your arms the other way through. And the first place it got hit on me was when I was I had like, when I was a blue belt, I had a crazy like sit out that I felt was like unstoppable. I could sit out from underneath anybody. And then homie that had like, been a pretty decent high school to like collegiate wrestler caught me in that cow catcher and about snapped my own neck. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to relearn this in a few steps.
So yeah, you're over there messing around with a lot of guys that are at Ironclad and stuff too, in and out. So you're dealing with a lot of guys who are actually wrestling.
Oh, that's a whole other game.
Yeah, that's so like
junior high wrestlers can out wrestle me at the game of wrestling. Like right. I can't play the game. I don't understand the game.
It's different. You know? Oh, and dude, somebody sent me a video of something that somebody was like reverse close guard. That's basically what you were trying to work from the gut wrench to the fall. I was like, no way, dude. Y'all get out of my face with this trash.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when you fell off or whatever, but you had your legs wrapped around under their armpits or whatever.
Yeah. But you didn't have their lower body necessarily. Yeah.
69 guard.
Yeah. I've ended up in that position a couple times.
Yeah. I was like, man, do not send me that again. I will kill you.
I don't know. I feel like
it can work. No, it can. It can. I'm not saying it just isn't the highest.
The only reason any of that stuff really works is because somebody's confused and they're not quite sure what you're doing, and that's the only reason it's really working. Because it's once you start shutting it down and you're like completely committed to like your weight's up in the air and they're doing whatever they want, that's when it starts becoming a problem. So that's what I was like, I would never encourage it. It's really fun though. It's really fun to do.
It's dude, and that's the thing is that it's fun, and in understanding how to use your body and things like that. It's a cool thing.
It's like a skateboard trick. I could either just skate along and just get from point A to point B, or I could do a kickflip.
Yeah.
Sometimes people want to do a kickflip on the way there.
Sometimes you fall and skin yourself up when you kickflip.
That happens.
It's just part of the game. In that way. Guard passing straight. Garrett, did you buy the closed guard instructional? I'm not making another one until you buy this one first. Show me your receipt. Show me your receipts. I'm assuming that's Garrett from the school here. Because that was one of the questions I got from some of them was like, how hard is this stuff to follow, though? Is this like a big, long thing where you got to watch it forever? And that's like, no, it's bite size. It's like, it's perfect. It'll give you one thing that you can think about and then come back to the next thing. Yeah. So it's just really, really well put together, and it's the best instructional you'll ever watch for $39.99. There may be better ones out there, but not for this price. Bet.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, it's fair, right? That's a fair.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. That's not overly egregious, but it's it's correct.
Who's better?
But are you just saying in general?
That's the rhetorical question.
Okay.
You should not actually try to answer that, Isaac, you dummy. It's me right now. I'm the best.
I was going to try to answer something that way, but I want to make sure that was what the page we were on.
Never break kayfabe.
Yeah, I saw the little guy that on your Instagram that didn't break kayfabe, the little Hawaiian guy that like Polynesian dancer or whatever that was like scaring the little kids.
That kid was being a jerk, I think, during the thing. Like running back and forth in front of the center area, and I'd seen the organizer trying to get him to like chill out a few times. And I didn't notice the scream during real time because I was just
just afterwards.
I was holding. She had my phone. My daughter Charlie had my phone.
Okay.
And she's like, "Can I video this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And so then I was just watching back to see what it looked like from her perspective or whatever. And I caught the scream then, I was into it, man. The dude was spinning fire around. I thought that was pretty cool,
Dude, the fire dancing stuff's always been crazy to me.
And props to Anya, who is the event planner for the city of Perry here downtown. They put on, the city does a lot of like really cool events. That's one of the best things about Perry, man. There's always something like Food Truck Fridays, and this was the Perry International Festival, where they had different people like from obviously all over the world, cultures come in and do singing, dancing, food offerings and different things like that. So really, really cool thing that they're working on down here downtown, trying to get it built up. So we're really happy to be down here, like as a part of that stuff too. It's like Perry's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, they've always they've got something cool going on. The downtown's really pretty. Is that where it's at? Is it like downtown?
Yeah, it was
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they closed off some of the streets downtown around the courthouse and stuff like that. Tom, are you from here? See what I'm saying?
See, hey, it connecting the world together. Tom, do we know you?
Do I know you, Tom?
Maybe.
Tom.
The internet is an interesting place.
I don't know any local Toms. I do know you. Okay. Cool, man. Dang it. Now I'm nervous.
Well,
like I saw your video and I'm like,
which one?
yeah, is it good or bad? The pyramid one, or was it?
Hey, I got I was really proud of that one. I completely. I mean, I'm not gonna say that my algorithm didn't already look the way that it looks, but my algorithm just is nothing but like ancient aliens now after making that video.
Yeah, I'm like wrestling promos, rap videos, and conspiracies. The mud flood.
Oh, is that what you're on the mud flood?
I'm not sure about it yet.
Okay.
Not sure. I believe it. I do believe part of it. I don't know how much though. I'm not all the way there, but there's some truth. There's for sure some truth to it, right? Because you can already see it now in places that are happening around the world. How literally during like a flood, massive amounts of earth are moved around and cover up things, and if you didn't have a bunch of people to help uncover it, it would just stay covered.
Yeah.
And people would eventually come back to it in time.
And then just build on top of it, probably.
That's what you do.
Yeah, no, I think so. I was watching something yesterday where they were talking about the fact that the Library of Alexandria wasn't as big and as much as we thought. Like the stories about the emperor,
the Vatican.
They were saying that like the stories about the emperor and whatnot that burned all the rest of the books to like use for the steam rooms and whatnot. They were like that wasn't true. Like there was a bunch of like over exaggeration, but like they were like it was probably a lot of like really important stuff in there. But I also didn't finish the entire video. So
It's really interesting, man. I'm like a history nerd. I always kind of been into that. People interest me. I'm very interested in the human experience at all, really. Like, I think that's one of the it's one of the the things about jiu-jitsu that does it for me too, is the all the different people and
the melting pot of people
to know, how people operate and how they think or whatever, and trying to, figure that out too. It's just like psychology is an interesting field, and then how people interact with each other through time, is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to major in which now I'm drawing a blank on what it was, anthropology. But which I ended up doing social sciences and global business, but like which is the movement of people. So like I'm very much the same thing. Like yeah, it was like watching what patterns happen and like why people make what decision that they make. Like the internet age of like watching people just like wash back and forth is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool, and that's where I'm nerding out on right now. Stuff like that, trying to figure out. Honestly, like, what is if it's true, what does it mean? Does it mean anything? I don't know. Probably not. Not that we can do much about it at this point in those ways. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to wrap up. I think you start getting ready for the rest of our day.
Get ready for your
Picked up some
kickboxing class that you now have at your school, right? What days are those?
So we're doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. Like kickboxing classes it's mostly like movement and not really a bunch of contact. We're doing some pad work and kick shields and things like that. But it's very beginner friendly, just something to start building up. Like, you know, a routine for some people to get a rhythm going. It's a new program. So let's say it's not for people who are going to come out and looking to be, you know, like a Muay Thai world champion or even somebody that's got fights coming up for real. It's probably not going to interest you that much. But if you want to come in and learn how to do some fighting stuff, like defend yourself a little bit and have a good workout, you'll get a real actual lesson on like fighting. I can't like separate the two. The ladies will be in there doing stuff, and at first I was like, hey, it'll be cardio kickboxing. I'm not gonna worry about it. But I see them and they're doing stuff, and it's like I care about them now. They're here.
You have to
like,
fix it.
These are my people,
yeah,
and if they leave here and she ever wants to punch somebody, I want her to know how to hit them. Like if you ever, you know what I mean. And so it's just one of the things that's always on my heart. I guess once you're around me, I gotta take care of you. That's what I try to do for people, you know. And so now they're learning how to fight, but they like it. It took
that's good
2 or 3 weeks. They expected to come in at first and do like bags and just start cracking stuff, because you know that's what you do. You come in, you throw people in the bag, and they just start going ham. Well, I didn't let them hit anything for the first few weeks, except for the pool noodles and stuff like that.
That Thai style. Learn how to walk.
You got to learn how to move, right? You got to learn how to throw the strike. You got to learn how to punch with what knuckles you're trying to hit with. You got to learn how to hit the kick where you want to throw the kick at. Or, you know, understanding where the movement lies, or otherwise you're just messing yourself up. So, or you're going to hurt your shoulder, or you're going to do it. Because, like, the tendency for people is to, like, load that arm. And if you hit like that, it's going to hurt your shoulder. You want to lead, you know. That's what I'm saying. There's too much. And I can't let it slide. Now, I'm not like a tyrant about it, but I'll stop and show them, like, this is better. This is better. So now they're cracking, and they're like, oh, this feels so good. It's like, oh, I got the power now. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're gonna keep doing it. I got a break for October because I'm dumb and got a lot of stuff going on in October. Dream Nogi Camp going down 9th through the 15th. Then PGF 2 weeks after that. So gonna be running and gunning, dropping the Cradle of Civilization here. Tom, 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Jiu Jitsu is the morning class. Mercenary for Jiu Jitsu. Is this Jared under a pseudonym? Jared Peterson?
It could be possible.
Like a bullfighter. When did I say that? The Matador. I've been saying that about stuff, though. Have you been in my class? Yeah, 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's it.
All right.
I'm going to find this guy.
You can find out who Tom is. Go buy the Cradle of Civilization.
Cradle of Civilization. It's in the show notes. It's all over everything I'm posting. It's the only thing I'm talking about anywhere ever right now. I need you to buy it. If you love me, buy it. If you hate me, buy it. Just buy it. We need you to buy it. Isaac, he's starving. Look at him over there. He's wasting away. He can't even afford to buy food. And if you buy 1,000 of these, I'll get Isaac 1 can of tuna, okay? Every 1,000 instructionals bought, Isaac gets an extra can of tuna. I don't care that he's vegan. It's not the point. Okay? Y'all just do that for him. Much love, everybody. Peace.